All right. Good morning, trader. Thank you so much for tuning into the morning brief. It is Thursday, April 1st. The S&P is looking very strong. We just broke out of yesterday's high. Things are looking very bullish right now. I am itching to put on a long position. So if I go quiet, I'm probably putting an order in, so don't mind me. All right, in any event, let's take a look at what's going on in the S&P here. So you can see yesterday was very, very strong. We took out the previous all-time high, which is at this white line right here. Broke above it by a couple points and then broke back into the range with strength. However, we were able to hold this high volume node right here. So we do have this area at 39.64 about where we know there are going to be some stops laid in. Just because of the amount of volume that was traded here primarily. I mean, anytime you get a high volume node, you know people are positioned there. It's just common sense. So below it, where the low volume node is, that's where stops are going to be. So presumably if that level drops, if we drop to that level, we should see a pretty big flush down. That being said, though, things are not looking bearish anytime soon. We're looking quite strong. And we did take out yesterday's high just a moment ago, and we're looking good. Everything on the NASDAQ is looking ridiculous today. I checked out some different equities like Facebook, Palantir. What else? Everything in the tech sector right now is just crushing it. So, if you're trading stuff that's listed on the Nasdaq, you're probably doing pretty well today. So, and then in the overnight session here, we have higher to overlapping value. You can see the point of control is weighted to the top of the range. Once we kicked back above that previous all-time high, you can see that people were making a strong attempt to hold that level. We got all this volume that's being accepted above the previous all-time high, which is very, very good for us. That means this level is likely to hold, and we should see continuation to the upside. So my bias is most definitely long today. I'm expecting us to gap up on the open. And so things should be pretty good after that point. So, all right. So let's take a look at some equities here. And just getting my notes up. So, one of the best setups that I found this morning was on Palantir. You can see that the immense bullishness from yesterday. So yesterday we gapped up right here, and super bullish. We've got this area of consolidation up here at the high, kind of a bull flag formation, and then we gapped up this morning. So we're opening just above yesterday's high, and I am expecting continuation to the upside. So we do have some resistance right here at 24.82. So I expect that will be tested with a possible break. If we can break above that, my next target would be this pivot high right around 25.50, 25.75, something like that. So I think that would be a pretty fair target for today, if today is like yesterday. But yeah, Palantir looks good. I actually did put money in my equities account for like the first time in forever, and I bought into this today. So hopefully that will play out. We have some other good long opportunities here on GE, for instance. So you can see General Electric spiked up really strong the last 2 days, and we took out this major trend line that we've been. Here, let me fix my monitor 1 second. My screen's a little bigger than I normally, so this will help me keep it accessible for you guys. That's better. So yeah, we had this really long-term trend line that we had been, well, not really long-term, but we wrote it down from 1441. Got a new trend line. I don't know if I would play that. No, I'm gonna leave it. Anyways, so we had this the breakout right here, and we're looking for continuation to the upside now. Not much movement in pre-market. It's up about 7 cents, but once we open up, hopefully we should get some continuation. The only thing that concerns me is that we have a little bit of a micro head and shoulders going on as we came back to that trend line, and volume was pretty low on the last swing down. So just keep an eye on that. I mean, clearly, if you're going to be taking this long, your stop would be going right below that trend line. So you have a really, really tight stop, which is good. All right. So as always, if you have equities you'd like me to take a look at, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Um, Always good to keep things engaging. So the next up on my list was Aurora Cannabis, and we had a really nice failed breakdown here. So you can see that we tested this pivot low right here, came back up, retested, put in a higher low, and then a lower low, and then we gapped up right after that. So that means we have all these shorts trapped right in here, which is beautiful. That's what gave us ILUS. You got it. That's what gave us so much velocity yesterday, was all those stops getting hit. And then we're up in pre-market again today. So I think this is a perfect long entry. We're right below the $10 mark, and I think this thing is probably going to go for a while. We came down very fast, so I would expect we would move back up with a reasonably close to that amount of velocity. So all right, let's take a look at ILUS here. ILUS International. All right, so this thing is currently trading at looks like 8 cents and like 88 hundredths, 88 thousandths, something like that. Like it might be 88 thousandths of a dollar. I'm not used to trading stocks that are go below a penny. It's weird to me. In any event, this thing is looking pretty bearish. You can see the clear signs of momentum to the downside right here. So it's hard to say, what would happen next. This low is looking pretty weak. It would not take very much for the shorts to come in and just run all these guys over. That being said, though, it's the longs do have a chance. I mean, if they can buy us up from here, we could possibly get a reversal, but it's hard to say. We're still definitely in this range. If you wanted to play it safer, you could wait for 11 cents to cross to get this breakout up top. Either way. So right now I'm pretty neutral, but my bias would probably be to the downside if I had to pick. So, all right. If you guys have any more of them, feel free to, like I said, throw it in the chat. Let's take a look at NEO here. NEO gapped up really, really strong this morning. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can get the full landscape here. So here's where it closed at yesterday, and which is like $38.98, and we gapped up all the way to $42. So, very, very strong gap up, and we're right at the bottom of this previous descending triangle formation right here. So basically what I'd be looking for is either a pullback on the open, and then for us to build up some more orders, come back up, retest 42, and get a break. Either that, or it's just gonna plow right through it on the open, and then we're just gonna keep blast even higher to possibly the top of this level at the top of that ascending triangle. So I'm not sure which is gonna happen, but in any event, I am most definitely long. Yeah, of course. All right. What else we got? So Zine had a very similar setup as Aurora Cannabis. So this is ticker ZYNE. You can see we have a really nice V bottom right here. So we're right at $4.66. So I'd be looking for us to continue to the upside. I'd like to see a breakout right here, around 480. And then for us to come back up and start testing the top of this range. So that was ticker ZYNE. Also, look at how good the volume was on that spike. So clearly we have some larger players. I mean, that's that's a lot of shares right there. So okay, like I said, if anybody has requests, please throw it in the chat here. Let's take another look at the S&P because I know we hadn't quite filled up yet at that point. So again, yesterday was very strong to the upside. We have this P-shaped volume profile, and we broke right above the previous all-time high. Put in a little bit of a V-top and then traded back down to the bottom of this high volume node. And came in to the upside in the overnight session, and things have been strong ever since then. Again, we've got a P-shaped profile overlapping to higher value, and we did just break through yesterday's high of the day. So it's looking like we may gap up on the open here. We're basically right at yesterday's high, but in any event, my bias is definitely long. So I'd either be looking for yesterday's high to hold on the open and for us to just kind of bounce and keep going. Either that or come back and retest the bottom of this high volume node before we bounce and then continue to the upside. If you guys, I really hope that you guys are using the volume profile. To be honest, I think it's one of the best tools that, I mean, I can make trades with just using a volume profile and nothing else. It's a phenomenal tool, and I think with equities traders, when I started out, I was trading on Robinhood and that kind of stuff. Their charts are just the most minimal thing you can imagine, and it's horrible. And then TradingView, like they do have volume profiles, but I've never really used a very good one. So I think equities traders, BW, you got it. Equities traders aren't really used to using that stuff, but like if you ever so you can see our profile right here. It's a P shape. So basically we know people are positioned in this area, right at the high volume node. Because clearly a lot of volume was traded there. Imagine that. So basically, we know that their stops are going to be right about here. And we've got this low volume node below there. So the transition from a high volume node to a low volume node is usually a very volatile move. So you can kind of trade around that. Like, I would like to get in right above the low volume node if I can, and then put my stop right inside of it because I know that low volume node is going to protect my stop. Basically. So like a long entry, pull back to this LVN, low volume node, and then continuation to the upside. That's perfect because this area, this low volume node, is going to be defended heavily by the people that got long in here. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents. It's a really good strategy, and it works in any time frame. All right, let's take a look at BW here. Babcock and Wilcox Enterprises. Jesus, this thing went parabolic. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's clearly still long. The question is, how long is it going to continue at this rate? Let's take a look. Let's zoom out a little bit here to see if we can find. I don't know if this is its all-time high or not. It looks like it. No, excuse me, it's not. If we go way back to 2018, sorry, if We go way back to 2018. This thing was trading up at like 80 plus dollars. In fact, we still have this unfilled gap right here. Several unfilled gaps. What the hell happened to this? Jeez. Okay. This is one of the craziest charts I have seen. Um I I don't know if this is TradingView, by the way. Yeah, so we've got unfilled gaps all over the place. And sorry, I like to label my charts because it makes it nice for when I come back to it, when I come back to things. So yeah, the all-time high on this is $239, and that was shortly after it IPO'd, and now it's trading for like $10. So let's switch back to an hourly view. So there's a lot of headroom above us. I have no idea. I've never heard of this company before, and I don't know what their fundamentals are like or why they lost so much equity. But in any event, this thing is looking strong for the interim. The only thing I would say is like we haven't had any sort of pullback or retest of this previous level around, let's call it $8. So if you're getting in now, you have a chance of becoming a laggard and getting trapped. That being said, though, I mean, clearly volume is still pretty good. We can see we had this very big volume spike. I don't know if that was yesterday or the day prior. I think it was yesterday. So, no movement in pre-market, but I mean, like I said, the only thing that's concerning to me is we haven't come back to retest that level yet. So we'll see what happens. Oh, what program was the one with the P shape? That is NinjaTrader. So it's a free platform. The free version doesn't really give you very much. Like the only thing that really bothers me about it is you can't place targets. You can place stops, but you can't place targets. Like you can't put a limit order in the book to have you filled. Like say you got long at 950 and you wanted to set your target at 1150, you couldn't do that. Which really bothers the heck out of me. But you know, I have the lifetime license and it's worth it. I mean, it comes with all these order flow tools like the volume profile. It also has like cumulative delta. This is like the daily view. So like this VWAP that you're seeing, this is part of NinjaTrader. The volume profile, I've got a composite profile here, and then I've got a really long-term profile that I made kind of see-through. So the order flow tools are really, really nice. But yeah, I mean it's a great platform. I would not have it any other way. I've used a lot of different platforms. I've used Bookmap. I also use Jigsaw, and NinjaTrader is definitely my favorite. So speaking of which, let's take a look at the Nasdaq here while we're waiting. Just look how strong the last 24 hours has been on the Nasdaq. Just craziness. So again, we got a P-shaped profile just like yesterday. And what does that tell us? That tells us that we're getting acceptance at the high of the range. So higher prices are being accepted. If we were going up and demand was running out, then we would get like probably a shape like this. So this is kind of what today's activity looks like. You know, a P-shaped profile. But if demand was running out, you get something called a selling tail. So it's almost like you have a high volume node and it tests above it and then just fails really quickly and trades back inside of it. But we're not that way yet. So yeah, clearly still looking. And the only thing I want you to remember is that if you have a P shape like that, it means that you're getting acceptance at higher prices. Okay. let's take a look at these three really fast while we still have time here. We got 6 minutes till the open. Again, we did look at NEO earlier, but as far as NEO goes this morning, we are gapping up very, very strong, right up to the bottom of this previous descending triangle. So if it were me, I'd be looking for potentially a little pullback here on the open, get in long at that point, and then ride that up into the previous range here. And then as far as targets goes, I think the top of this ascending triangle is a good target, right around $46. So, yeah. So NEO's looking really, really good. SPCE. So SPCE also gapping up on the open. We've got a new trend line forming here, and yeah, it's looking solid. So a little bit of a bull channel going on like that. So I'd be looking for us to take out yesterday's high on the open here, probably come back and retest this level, meaning yesterday's high, or come back and retest the trend line and then see continuation higher. But my bias is most definitely long on this. Let's see, Tesla. All right, so Tesla gapping up on the open here. So a lot of strength. So we do have this trend line running. Give me 1 second. So we have this trend line running right through here. It looks like it's been broken actually. So I'd be looking for us to continue higher. Definitely the 700 level is going to provide us some resistance, a big psychological number there. But if we can get a break above 700, this thing is going to get up into the low volume node kind of stuff and continue really strong. So we have the potential for a very good breakout if we can get above 700. So we're definitely going to have stops up in this area between 700 and 720 with all the people that shorted in here. Okay, and then last but not least, we got Riot Blockchain. So, yeah, I called out the long on this. I think it was last Friday. Might have been on the weekend wrap. Anyways, it's playing out really nicely. At the time I called it out, we had just put in this V bottom right here, and I was saying that we were going to get long again, and we were going to target this week high right up here. And we're just slowly kind of grinding higher. Volume seems to be mostly stable. So yeah. As a whole, I would say volume is higher relative to this section. So Riot looks really good. Oh, we didn't check BTC. That'll be my last one. Then I gotta get ready for my trading day. All right, so BTC, and also like one thing that you want to take into account, Riot is it's an equity, but it's basically based on like a currency, right? Like it's gonna be closely tied to Bitcoin. So the price action that we see on Riot, the setup might be looking perfect, but if Bitcoin does something different, then Riot's gonna behave totally differently. So that means that you have to be a little bit skeptical when you're looking at the market structure on something that trades almost like a commodity, because whatever stock you're trading, if that commodity does something different, that structure may not pan out how you would expect. So in any event, yeah, we're really having trouble at the $60,000 level. You can see that we came up, gave it a really good test, and then somebody tried to trap everyone out. Very, very big seller at 60K. The buyers came back up though, and we are consolidating. So as long as we can hold this level right here, right around 58, 250, something like that, as long as we can hold above there, I think we will break back above 60,000. Right now, though, it's anybody's game. Volume dropped off substantially yesterday. You might have noticed. So that's my only real concern, because that it's suggesting that higher prices are cutting off activity, and we don't like that. We want to see more volume as we progress higher. Anyways, guys, it is 6:29. I got to get out of here.
VWAP crossed.
Market actually just opened. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Remember, tomorrow is a holiday. I don't know what the trading hours are for equities.
Just came in.
Futures, I think it's a
Developing
half
value
day.
is
So
overlap higher and
good luck on
volume
your
is
trades
lower
today,
than
guys.
previous pit
Remember,
profile.
tech is strong today.
POC
so,
migration
the
is
NASDAQ
migrating
is
up.
apparently the place to be.
POC is
So,
prominent.
good luck, guys. Take care.